Okay, we're going to take a look at the M1 software on our HE400. This particular HE has LED lighting adjustable. We're going to move the lighting up and down for the video so you can see on the screen clearly, but we have the ability to adjust this lighting on the comparator itself. Okay, we're going to take a look at starting up the M1 software. The M1 runs on an Android tablet and it is connected via Bluetooth. So a simple swipe down will get you to the settings menu and make sure your Bluetooth connection is active. We can see in the upper right hand corner that the Bluetooth connection is active currently. We're just going to press the M1 software and it'll read connecting to encoder box. Once it's connected, it'll let you know that it's connected. And what I'm going to do is simply move by hand one of the axes and verify that the encoders are moving and counting. Both X moving the Y axis, and then I'm going to move the screen by rotating the Q axis knob. And we can see all three axes are working as per normal. Right now we're going to take a look at the crosshair. The crosshair tool is found from the probe menu. Select the probe menu and the icons will appear. Far left is crosshair. Select it. It's illustrated in the screen that the crosshair is now being used. When we move the stage, the DRO will update. You can select between inches or millimeters, and simply pressing the X, Y, and Q will zero out those axes. So typically we will align to an edge, zero out the crosshair, and we're going to move the stage and receive the answer in that axis. The crosshair can also be used with the rotation. If we align the crosshair to a point, we could zero out the Q axis and rotate on screen and receive an angle call out. We are now going to measure some points with the crosshair is active. We're simply going to click on the measure point function and this dialog will appear. Right now, if we move the crosshairs on screen, we can see our DRO truncates down and we can see exactly where we are relative to the part. And if I want to measure a point, I simply click in the large section here and green check. And it will tell me where in X and Y that point is, and then also it has that feature retained in the feature list. As soon as I move the stage, we are back into the large viewing screen of the DRO. I could then measure a second point by clicking point. I'll fine-tune my alignment, click in the large section of point collection, and green check. Now I have a second point at a different location. I can see both of these features in my feature list. I have point 1, I have point 2, and I can see those two discrete points. I could also move to a new location and generate a point reading on an edge. Simply click point, tap, green check, and it finishes that measurement. All these points will be collected and stored, and we can look at their XY positions. So point, green check. As we go through, we start collecting all the points, and we can interface with these points. We could ask for a distance between 2 points, so we'd simply say distance, select the 2 features, and now it shows 2 features are selected. Hit the green checkbox, And then the distance is added to the list. The distance shows where the original data is between these 2 points. And if I just move the stage, it'll go back to the large DRO format. I can keep collecting points for measurement. I will align to an edge, click point, enter point, green check. And these can be done in XY. We can also reference a corner location by simply zeroing, and this will update the previously measured features. We can also save multiple reference frames as well. We could have a second reference frame with a different zero. With a new zero location. Now that we've created several point intersections and several distances, we can delete individual features by selecting them and clicking the red X. Or we can press and hold the X and it will delete all the features from the list. This will return us back to a normal, clean screen with no features. And now new features can be added to the list. Now we are going to measure this line here, and we're also going to measure this line over here using the crosshair. To start, I'm going to click Measure Line. I'm going to align my crosshair to the edge, enter points, and I'm going to enter a minimum of 2 points. 2 points are necessary for a line. There is no maximum set of points. So I've entered 4 points for this line, and I'm going to hit the green check, and it's going to generate line number 1. I'm going to move across the part. I'm going to relatch the quick disconnect. I'm going to measure line number 2. So I'm going to first position myself to the edge, click on Measure Line. I'm going to enter that point, and I'm going to enter several points along the way. Here we have a total of 5 points. We're going to click green check, and now I have 2 lines measured in my feature list. We're going to come right across to the other side and measure a 3rd line. Typically, we'll line up the edge first, then click line, and then you're ready to enter in your first point. As I said, there's a minimum of 2, and that creates a 2-point line. Now each line is located in the feature list, and we can ask for some distances between the 2 lines. So click Line, Distance, pick the 2 features from the list, and hit the green check. This now shows us a graphic interpretation of a distance between 2 lines. Shows us the X, Y, and L value for that particular distance. By deselecting the feature, it brings us back to the DRO. I can click on Distance, and I could select between lines 2 and line 3, and click green check. And this will also show me a graphic interpretation of the distance between 2 lines. As soon as we move the stage, the DRO will come back as the main screen, and we can go measure other lines. As I said, a line requires a minimum of 2 points. If you try to create a single point line, it won't allow you to green check it. So we'll line up our second point, enter it, click the green check, and construct line number 6. Now we're going to clear our list of features. I'm going to select a feature from the feature list. I could single click or press and hold to delete all of them. Now we're going to measure an angle between two lines. We're going to start with line number 1. Click measure line. Again, a minimum of 2 points. And move down to our second line. Align the edge. Click on measure line. Enter a point. And now we're going to move to our second location. And maybe even add some other points along the way. There's no order that's needed of the point collection. Now I have 2 lines in my feature list. I'm going to click measure angle, and I'm going to select the 2 features. It shows 2 features are selected. I can see in blue that the 2 features are highlighted, and I'm going to hit the check. Now we can see an angle being displayed between 2 lines. This change icon appears on screen, and we can change the output format. And as we tap through, it'll scroll through all 4 output formats. As soon as I move the stage, we come back out to the live DRO. You can always return to your feature by clicking on the feature in the feature list. And again, simply selecting the output format. Moving the stage will bring you back to your live DRO. Now we're going to be measuring circles with the crosshair tool. I'm going to select some features, press and hold the delete key to clear out my feature list. Minimum for a circle is going to be 3 points. I'm going to line up my crosshair on the edge, and this we're going to start with an arc. It's the same function for arc as it is circle. Enter the points. Once I get to the location, I'm going to click in the large square. Once I'm done, green check. By default, the system is going to show the feature in a diameter mode. All you're going to do is click on the D and it'll show the radius for that feature and the XY position of that feature. So now I'm going to move to the second circle feature. Click measure circle, enter the points. I'm going to traverse, make the alignment. Again, we're going to need a minimum of 3 points. In this case, we'll enter 4 points. Green check, and it's done. Again, we'll have an X, a Y, and a diameter value, or a radius value if you choose. You can simply toggle between. Now you can select a distance between the two circles, press the green check, and it will graphically show you a distance from center point of a circle to a center point of a circle. You can change the result output format to the nearest and furthest distance between the two features. If we move the stage, the DRO will come back up, and we can continue measuring another circle. We'll align our first point, our second point, and our third. You can enter as many points as you'd like. There's no limitation, and the order does not matter. So now we have another feature, and we can ask for a distance from circle to circle, and again that will be displayed, and you can change the distance format. If we have a small radius, we'll use the same function entering points along the feature. And again, to see the radial value, click the D, changes to an R. Right now we're going to switch to the optical probe, and I'm going to move the optical probe into the middle of the screen. I'm going to lift the probe away from the screen and then move it into place and gently rest it down onto the glass surface. The optical sensor should be pointed directly at the screen, perpendicular to the face of the glass. You can adjust the position of the probe so that it is perfectly aligned to the surface. Once the optical probe is touching the surface of glass, ensure that it is fully touching the glass surface, and then tighten the set screw. There should be no gap between the glass and the sensor. It should be sitting flush to the surface of the glass. Now that we have the optical sensor positioned correctly onto the glass screen, we're going to first teach the edge sensor. The first step is to click the probe menu and then select the equal symbol. The optical edge teach prompt will appear on screen, and it'll give you instructions. So it says place the optical edge sensor in the lighted area, press next when ready. So bring it to the light, next. Move the sensor into the dark area, and place it back into the lighted area. Once this is done, it will say it was successful, and now we're ready to use the optical edge sensor. Now we're going to take a look at the manual edge probe. We're going to select the second from the left. The icon has a crosshair in the middle. This mode allows the operator to confirm the edge point after the edge is crossed. If we were to measure a line, we would move the probe close to the edge, select measure line, traverse the edge, and we would hear an audible beep, then confirm that is the edge that we're looking for. We would do this for the second point, traverse, we would hear an audible beep, confirm with the press of the screen. I will move down, traverse, and confirm the edge we want. This function is intended for crossing multiple edges that do not acquire edge functionality. In manual edge mode, the operator will confirm the entry of a point. So for measuring a line, we would select line, cross the point, confirm it. If I accidentally cross the wrong edge, I could ignore that and not confirm it, recross, and cross again to confirm the second audible tone. So each time I cross the edge and I hear an audible beep, I'm confirming that was the edge that I was looking for. If I accidentally cross the wrong edge, no points are taken, even though we hear a tone. Only when I click the screen will that last point be entered into the line measurement equation. Now we're going to look at auto edge. Auto edge still allows the audible beep. The function will be performed circle. This time the entry method will be automatic. The operator will not confirm the edge points. Rather, the system will automatically count each feature. If an incorrect feature is acquired, you can simply undo and it will remove that point or multiple points. Once your points are acquired, green check and view the radius. We can use the auto edge to quickly acquire edge points on a part. Traditionally, an edge is crossed in a single direction. Try to avoid crossing in multiple directions. In this case, I'll cross the Y, the X, the Y, and move only one axis at a time. Once I have all the points, green check, done. Another function of auto edge is the utilization of measure logic. This function allows you to cross an edge and traverse back over it to start a measurement process. Right now it is put into measure anything mode. The points entered will determine the feature's outcome. When I'm done, I would cross over the last edge again to finish the measure logic function. This process begins by crossing a single edge feature and then traversing back over it to put it in measure any mode. When I'm in any measure any mode, I can traverse, enter a second point, and if there's only 2 points in a straight line, it will assume it's a line. If I use the measure any mode and enter 3 points or more, it will assume a circle or a radius. Simply start by traversing an edge, traversing back over the same edge, and entering your points. When you go to finish the measurement, enter a point and enter the same point again, and this will produce the feature for you. It'll be listed in your part view and your feature list. This is a fast, quick way to measure feature position and size. So now we've measured all our features. We have a full list of items. We can go back and look at the dimensions and positions of these features. You can press and hold the delete key and remove all of them, including the datum features. You can switch back to crosshair, and if you want to close the M1, you're going to swipe up from the bottom, click the recent or multi button, and then X out of the M1 software. And when you're ready to start back up, just click on the M1, it'll connect to the encoder box, and you're ready to measure.